Chagiga. We have Gimel Vav.
No,
Red,
that's the new ones. Let's go back to Gimel Gimel.
you never let me do the good ones. Okay. All right.
I do, but only a day later.
Gimel. And these documents may be written during Kol Hamoed. Instruments of betrothal, divorces, receipts, testaments, gifts, postmortem, evaluation documents, support documents, Galitza certificates, refusal, selection contracts, court edicts, and government documents. We may not write loan contracts during Kol Hamoed. However, if he does not trust him, or he doesn't, and there's nothing to eat, then he may write. We may not write books of scripture with nor tefillin nor mezuzahs during Kol Hamoed. We may not correct a single letter, even in the Torah scroll of the temple court. The Yehuda says a person may write tefillin or mezuzahs for his personal use, and he may spin the blue thread for his tzitzis on his thigh. I was wondering about this yesterday. Why does it single out the Torah scroll on the temple court? Is there a reason that's
Okay. So you're reading in Moed Katan for sure. And I was just, I let you go because we need to do some Moed Katan, but I don't think we're in the same Mishnayos in Moed Katan even. Which one did you just finish?
Oh, Aleph, I should have started, hey, I think, Gimel
It
Hey.
should have been Vav.
Vav, Gimel Vav, okay.
Okay,
All
so
right.
let's but okay, now you can ask me that question again.
So why does it say that you can't even correct a single letter in the Torah scroll in the temple court?
Okay, in the temple court, okay, there are two things. One is that the temple court is inside the temple. Remember, we have a kula there that we don't have many shvusim. We don't generally make gezeres inside the temple courtyard because people are going to be naturally have the yira of the place.
Right,
And also the Sefer Torah that's in the temple courtyard is the one from which all the other Sefer Torah are copied. But
right.
even that, we say, no, you don't do that on Chol Hamoed. You don't fix it
I
on
figured, I
Chol
figured
Hamoed.
that was the reason. The reason that was the only well, one's outside of the temple court to be able to correct or do whatever you have to do outside the temple court. Is that
Um,
correct then?
no, no, no. That's a Kal Vachomer. You can't even do it inside. You definitely can't do it outside.
Even in the Torah. Okay,
Yes.
okay, I got. It. Okay,
Yes.
okay. All right, good. All right. So she want me to go to now to
Vav.
Vav. Okay, Gimel Vav. Okay, here we go. Reb this is Moed Rabbi Eliezer says from the time the temple was destroyed, Shavuos is like the Sabbath. Rabbi Gamil says Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are like the festivals. The Chachamim, however, do not agree with either other two. Rather, Shavuos is like the festivals. Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are like the Sabbath. Garments may not be rent, shoulders may not be bared, and the mourner's meal may not be served, except by relatives of the deceased. The mourner's meal is only served in a set-up bed. We not bring food to the house of mourning, neither on a tray nor salva or decorative basket, but only in plain baskets. And we may not say the mourner's blessing during Kol Hamoed, but we may stand in rows and offer consolation, and then they dismiss the public. We do not set down the bier in the street, so that as not to encourage eulogies. The biers of women are never set down out of respect. Women may sing dirges during Kol Hamoed, but may not clap. Rabbi Mishna says those near the bier may clap. Okay.
Okay. All right. So tomorrow moves on to the beginning of Chagiga again, but we're going to Chagiga Gimel Gimel now.
Okay, so tomorrow, wait. Tomorrow, when it comes to Kol Moed, we're going to start where we just left off.
Right. So Moed Katan is going to finish and then carry on into the beginning of Chagiga, and
Okay.
and now we're going to finish Chagiga today, but we're starting with Gimel Gimel.
Okay. Gimel. We may not eat dry food with contaminated hands of the foods of Truma, but not of if they are Kodesh. Uh, um, if the owner and the one who needs to bring an atonement offering require immersion for eating Kodesh, but may not for eating Truma. The stringency of Truma is as follows. In Judea, the Amorites are believed concerning the tahara of wine and the oil throughout the year, and during the wine pressing and olive pressing seasons, the Amorites are believed even concerning Truma. The wine pressing and olive pressing seasons have passed, and they have brought him a barrel of wine of Truma. He should not accept it from them, but he may set it aside for the next wine pressing season. However, if he told them within it I have separated a fourth of a log of Kodesh, he was believed. Concerning the jugs of wine or jugs of oil that are still mingled, they believed about them during the wine pressing and the wine oil pressing season, and even for 70 days prior to the wine pressing season. From Modi'in onward, they are believed concerning earthenware vessels. From Modi'in outward, they are not believed. How so? If the pot is selling, the pot became inward of Modin. Regarding the very pots, and the very purchases, he is believed. But as if he left, he is not believed.
Okay.
Tax,
Now,
that's it.
so
Okay.
this is me now. All right. Hagabayin shenichnesu letoch habayis. So you have tax collectors who came to seize and to seize property of the householder who didn't pay. Hotzah lapol is what they
Mhm.
call it over here. Okay, so Hotzah lapol came into the house, and the guys who are working for Hotzah lapol aren't necessarily the most pious of individuals. Okay, v'chein haganavim shechazirus hakelim. So let's say some thieves broke into the house and then they wanted to do teshuvah, and they said, "Okay, we want to give back the stuff. We feel bad about it." Nemanim lomar lo naganu. They are believed to say the only thing we touched was what we took, and even the clay cheres that they took. It was said they are believed to say that we didn't put our hands inside the kalim. Because why? The kalim, because that's where kli cheres gets its tumah from the inside. Um, so even though they are Amei Aretz for sure, because what Chaber is going to be robbing or engaging or being a Hotzah Lapoel collector, but nonetheless we believe them. Yerushalayim neimanim ala kodesh. In Yerushalayim, they are trusted about Kodesh. What does this mean? That they're believed about all the klei cheres, whether they are large or small, to say that they are tower for Kodesh. So it's not just the potters, but even an Amaret's householder in Yerushalayim is trusted about Kodesh. B'shas regel afala truma, and during the when everyone is in town for the Chagim, they even trusted for Truma. Okay, and remember we just said in the previous Mishnah that that's one of the funny where the Chumer becomes a Kula, that we trust they trust about Kodesh always, but they're only trusted about Truma during the Chagim.
Okay.
Okay. הפוסח es chaviso u'maschil v'maschil be'isaso. So when the Amaretz, sorry, the Chenvani. This is a chaver who opens up his barrel to start selling wine from it in Yerushalayim to the Ole Regel. Um, and his customers, of course, are all types of people who will necessarily include Ameyaretz. Um, or he starts Maskil Isaso, also a baker who wants to start selling his dough. I guess they sold raw dough to people so that they could bake it themselves and have fresh bread. Um, and you've got Ameyaretz coming and touching everything. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Yigmor. So he says if he's got wine left over from his in his barrel or dough left over, he can sell these things even after the regel b'ches kastara, because the people who touched everything were considered tahor. And so remember, the question that we're asking, it's a subtle variation of what we were speaking about before. During the regel, Amei Aretz are considered trustworthy about Kodesh. Okay, that's great. So that means that anyone who's coming into the stores is trusted about
Mhm.
the Tahara, and everyone can come and poke around and take wine and take bread and whatever. But the question now is, does their chazaka of Tahara, um, is that something that we say, okay, we trust that they were actually Tahor? Or is it just a shas, a time-bound thing that as soon as the time has left, that we now remove their trustworthiness, and whatever they touched during the time, now we have to treat as if it's potentially tamei. You hear that's a subtle difference
Right.
it's like the previous one when we were saying that if he in terms of the location, if he moves himself into the allowed area, then we trust him. If he leaves his wine over until the next year, and then he can sell his wine during the pressing season to a chaver, and be believed about the Tara. So now afterwards, we're asking the same sort of question about afterwards. Do we trust that whatever they touched is actually tahor? So Rabbi Yehuda says, yeah, once we're trusting them, then after the regel, it's nothing's changed. Nobody touched it after the regel. He closed it. So why should it suddenly become aser? Chacham umrim lo yigmor. Chacham said, no, this is the time box thing. The heter applies to the time only that we can trust them specifically during this time, and now that the time is over, we do not trust them. Misha'ava regel hayu mavirin al taras ha'azara. So at the end of the regel, they would go through the whole azara and start purifying all the vessels that the Amei Aretz might have touched, and that includes Amei Aretz Kohanim, because Kohanim can also be Amei Aretz. Not It's not like a natural heritage that a Kohen is going to be. Okay, of course we let them serve in the temple because when they're in the temple they have the Yira and the Ema and everything, and they're not gonna. But whoa, just a second after the fact, do we actually trust them? And no, it says that, and that's what the mission is telling us, that we would have to go through the whole temple and start purifying everything. Avar regel b'yom shishi. What happens if the regel finished on Friday? So now Shabbos is no longer part of the regel. So do we trust them? Lo hayu ma'avirim mipnei kvod Shabbos. So we extend that period by an extra day because we can't do things on can't do this cleansing on Shabbos. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, af lo b'yom chamishi she'en hakohanim penoyin. And even if the regal finished on Thursday, then we can't go through purifying the whole temple on Friday because it's Erev Shabbos. You know what Erev Shabbos is like. So, um, although it's interesting that this is the same Rabbi Yehuda who said in the previous Mishnah that you can trust them even after the fact, but it seems that like even he is modeh that that you have to purify the temple. So interesting.
Okay.
Ipnei Kodesh Shabbos. Where do I put it? Just looking to see if there's any comment on that in about the fact that this is Rabbi Yehuda. Anyway, Kate said Mavirin al Tarsa Azara. So what did they do to purify the Azara after the Chag? Matbirin esa kalim shahayu b'mikdash. So they take all of the kalim from the mikdash and tovel them. V'amrim lahem hizaharu shelo tig'u b'shulchan u'b'menorah. Well, a menorah is in brackets in my edition. According to the Gemara, we don't say menorah over here because it's impossible to. We don't mention it, but don't touch the shulchan because it's not possible to tovel the shulchan after the regel because the nasata ala shulchan lechem panim lefanai tamid means you have to have the lechem panim there all the time.
So this says, careful not to touch the table and the menorah, lest you contaminate. And menorah is in parentheses,
Right.
brackets.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
right. So why is the shulchan is a special thing? Because if the shulchan had to become tameh, we've got a problem. We can't oval it because it's because we permanently have to have the lechem hapanim there. If you yeah, so there's no time. You can't have the shulchan aruch, the shulchan going into the mikveh. It needs to have the lechem hapanim there. Anyways, um,
I wonder if that ever happened.
yeah, okay. Um, okay, כל הכלים שהיו במקדש, יש להם שניים ושלישים. Everything that's in the mikdash had substitutes and even a third substitute, so that you can switch them around and take them and total them. שאם נטמעו הראשונים יביאו שניים תחתיהם, then you could substitute them with something else. כל הכלים שהיו במקדש טעונים טבילה, and all of them needed to go to mikveh, חוץ ממזבח הזהב, the golden altar, that's the incense altar, umizbach hanechoshes, and of course the copper altar, mipnei shehen kekarka, because these are like earth. The copper altar, which actually, that's the big one on the outside, and that is literally attached to the ground, and therefore it is not susceptible. It's not susceptible to tumah. I'm interested. Mizbach hazahav was a smaller one. It seemed to be portable. I'm not sure why that's kakarka. Mizbach Nechoshes for sure is like karka, but Mizbach Zahav, Shenemar Hamanora v'hamizbechos. So there's a hekesh between the two mizbechot, and according to Rabbi Eliezer, that's it's because they're both like karka, therefore they don't need tefillah. Chachamim omrim mipnei shehein mitzupin. Um, so the Chachamim say that it's because they have been plated. Now, what does this mean? The Chachamim are disagreeing with Rabbi Eliezer. They hold that even the Mizbachot need Tevila because they are plated, and the plating is what's
Right.
if they were just plain earth or whatever, then they would not need Tevila. But uh, um, so yeah, I'm going to just pull out my art scroll as well. Seeing as I have an art scroll, I'm going to jump into it. Table of contents to number 8. So because they are so the
It
sages
says,
because they are plated with metal, the altars can become tame. Therefore, they must be immersed after the festival, just like other temple utensils. Um,
had
so,
they not been plated, they would be considered as wooden vessels designed to
right.
remain permanently at rest.
So they reject his exposition that equates the altars with earth, maintaining instead they have the status of wooden utensils since they're made of wood. Although wooden utensils made to remain stationary ordinarily cannot become tame, still the mizbachot required immersion because they're plated with metal, which is capable of becoming tame. Now that only movable objects. Now that's an interesting thing. The I just don't know what it looks like to immerse the mizbeach that is in the courtyard, because it literally is. Oh, you know what it's talking about? It's talking about the one from the Mishkan. It must be talking about the one from the Mishkan, because I
You
just
couldn't take the one. You could take the ones from the temple.
yes, right. So look at I don't know if you've got the same edition as me, but I've also got an article here, and it says in the footnote 4, it says Moshe was instructed to build two mizbechot in the wilderness. There's the golden one and the copper one. The golden one was inside the tabernacle and was used to burn the incense, and the copper altar was used for burning all the other offerings.
Uh,
Okay. So, it was originally built of shittim wood and plated with copper. Now, in the
right, right.
temple, that's in the square brackets. The temple, the altar used for offerings was no longer made of copper, rather from stone, which cannot become tame. Never mind for the fact that it's made from stone. It's attached to the ground. That's
Yeah.
so it's both. So for two reasons, it's made from stone and it's attached to the ground. So the Mishnah's discussion of the copper altar's ability to become tame is theoretical, or referring to some situation in the future when the altar might be made of copper plated wood. Okay, great. That was kind of what I was thinking, but at any rate, that's our explanation. So Hadran Alach Maseches Chagiga Hadran Alach Seder Moed.
Moed.
Congratulations. Have a l'chaim, an extra l'chaim today for completing a Seder Moed.
So we finished. We starting Seder
So
Moed again.
so tomorrow your new Mishnayos are from Yevamos.
Vamos. Okay, so we're finished
Yeah.
with Moed. We're finished with Giga. We're finished with everything. Okay.
Finished, yeah, finished with Seder Moed. Okay, well we're doing Chazara now in Seder Moed. Let's go
Right.
back to Rosh Hashanah.
I don't have the same edition as your art scroll.
Oh, but you
So
know what? We're actually kind of over time over here, and I'm going to get to going to shul.
all right,
So
so I'll finish everything. I'll
so
finish. I have
let's do that Chazara ourselves for today,
finish up.
and I'll see you again on Sunday. Have a wonderful Shabbos.
And tomorrow we said we're doing Yevamos? No, what did you
Yeah,
say we're
so
doing?
Yevamos.
Yevamos tomorrow. Okay, I'm finishing Moed. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Have a great day. Thank
You
you.
too.
Shabbos. Thank
Yes.
you. Bye.